In the lower left-hand corner of Daybreak, we have our pink Zerg player from the team Zenex. It says Pet, it's live.
Yep.
And his opponents in the top right-hand corner of the map. Our blue Terran player just one game away from advancing to losers round 4. It's TSL Polt.
Yeah, you know, Life is a very interesting player, I gotta say, because it seems like he's so solid in the early game and the mid game. He's so good at handling the pressure that a lot of Terran players put on him. But in the late game, you know, we've seen it whether he plays Infestors or whether he plays Mutalisks, he just gets a bit sloppy. He starts to just kind of throw things at his opponent when he thinks he's done enough damage to win, you know? And that is one of, like, the biggest mistakes you can make at the professional level, is kind of assuming that you've won. So that's going to be a problem that's going to come back to haunt him until he starts to kind of tighten things up in the late game.
And taking a look now, we'll see what Polt is up to. Most of the time, he's been doing some variations like of Reactored Hellions on this map. Sometimes he'll end up going for a gasless FE into Reactored Hellions afterwards. So he'll give us a couple of different looks, but it's not going to do anything terribly crazy.
Yep, both these guys can be playing pretty safe here.
Yeah.
Pet sending out his Pet Overlord.
Yeah. Hey there, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
You really need to enable the zoom if you want to do all the fancy camera angles, you know?
Just talking to the Overlord. Excuse me, we had our alone time.
Okay.
All right.
I'll leave you guys to it.
Damn well should. All right, well, Polt is adding on his gas right now, and he is going to have Reactored Hellion build more than likely coming up in just a bit. And, of course, a fast expand out of Zenex Life, but nothing really out of the ordinary for these two players. It is going to be gas before pool, though, for Zenex Life, so he will have Zergling speed very, very quickly.
Yeah, he likes to get that Zergling speed a little bit quicker than some of the other Korean Zergs that we've seen in ZVT. He likes to be able to do, you know, make a few more lings than usual early in the game and get in there and cause some problems at his opponent's natural expansion. I think that's a cool little kind of style that he does. I feel like that's something that more Zergs could incorporate into their play. So many Zergs are just like, I must drone, I must just do nothing but drone unless I see an attack coming. Where Life is like, you know what, I can be aggressive too. I can try to dictate the pace of the game as well. So, you know, he's doing his best to do that, and I think it's kind of cool.
All right, here Polt's going to get a pretty good look at his opponent's base, and he'll see with the time of that spawning pool that he will have quick Zergling speed up. SCV takes 2 hits of damage as it goes on by, but nothing really to note there. Back on Polt's side of things, see if he decides to expand here in just a bit, as that factory is about halfway done, and the reactor's coming up as well, making sure he takes very good map control. Oh, and he may be able to snag a couple of Overlord kills. Those are so nice to grab at this point in the game.
Yeah, well, he'll definitely get this one, and that is a bit irritating. You know, usually Zergs have kind of every single mineral planned out in the beginning with their builds, so having to spend an extra 100 minerals on another Overlord that you weren't expecting to have to make, that hurts. Yeah, he's pretty badly supply blocked now, too.
Marine's not moving. They're just happy with their kill. Okay, now finally getting out of there.
I'd be happy too.
Yes.
If I were a Marine.
If I were a Marine.
At the start of this game.
Yes. All right.
Third command center on the way for Polt. He loves getting that. Oh, I'm sorry. That's actually a second command center.
Yeah.
That's a place where you see a lot of Terran players build their third command center, and you usually see players do it on the low ground.
Yeah, Polt is
even
one of those.
Zerg,
Polt is one of those players like Thorzane, though, that loves to build his command center on the low ground as well. Take that risk. We saw it in the game on Metropolis as well. Decides not to do it this go-round.
Yeah, well, against a player like Life, I think that would be a little bit too dangerous to try.
Yeah, let's see here now what Life. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Of course, he does have a Spycrawler coming up at the front for defense. Sitting on just 2 queens for now.
And so, everything fairly standard here. Nothing really terribly out of the ordinary aside from that very, very quick Zergling speed from Zenex Life. And, you know, even that, there's nothing strange about it. It's just something that we don't see quite as often.
And Zenex Life going to have to work at defending against these Hellions here, and he indeed will, just delaying long enough for the Spycrawler to come up, and those Hellions are going to have to move away. Not too much else they can do about that.
Yep.
And Polt, he does have Stim coming up, and we'll see what he moves into after that.
Yep. All right, so Polt just kind of waiting for some creep tumors to be made at this point. He's like, come on. Come on, Queen. I know you have to you like feel this need to make creep tumors. Spread that creep. Do it. I promise I won't shoot them with the Hellions.
Well, we do have the creep tumor Queen popping out now.
Yep.
And we'll see. Looks like it's going to put down this one here.
Safety creep tumor.
Yeah, that's weak.
Well, you know, it's good to get it started. A little bit wimpy.
I guess.
She wimped out a little bit.
Let's see here.
She'll be okay.
Second gas being added for Zenek's life as he puts down Evolution Chambers 1 and 2.
Yep, so he's going to go for that same style. Probably go Ling and Fester as well. It worked well for him in game number 3, but, you know, again, he just kind of fell short a little bit in the late game. But mid and early game, he seems to really, really have down. You know, it seems like he really knows every little intricate detail of that part of the game.
And Polt is going to be sitting on 3 barracks, starport, and a factory, so it looks like he's going to prioritize a lot of Marines and medevacs and then move into tanks after that. And we'll see what ends up happening here, though, in just a bit. Not adding on that 3rd command center anytime soon.
Yeah.
1-1 is now coming up for Zenek's life.
Yep. So now every once in a while you see Zerg players going for Spire Tech after going double upgrades as well. It's not terribly common. Oh, it looks like he's going to catch some of the Hellions. Nice response by Polt, though, only losing 2 of those.
Yeah, thought he was at danger of losing all of them.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, those Zerglings got right up there, man. It was pretty close.
All right, well, the creep spread can finally start. Polt has to back away for now. Those Hellions, a little bit injured, but the ones that escaped didn't really take all that much damage. And, of course, looks like he's sitting on a lot of Marines at the moment. He does have combat shields coming up as well, as looks like Stim is already finished up. Nothing being produced out of the factory quite yet, just going to make sure he gets a nice amount of those Marines first of all.
Yep, Zenek's life is out on the map with quite a few speedlings right now. In fact, how many does he have total at the moment? He has 34 speedlings. It's a pretty large amount for this stage in the game. He did need some to hold off those Hellions, of course, but looked like for a moment he might have wanted to get aggressive. I think he's expecting a possible drop here as well.
He may be right just a little bit off on the time because Polt's moving out with a couple of medevacs and a bunch of Marines.
Yep, certainly possible. I was speaking earlier about going Mutalisk out of double Evo chamber. You can, but then you end up playing a style where you Mutas just harass a little bit and you're still relying mostly on Zergling Banelings. Lysira used to be a Zerg player that loved doing that style in ZVT. Talk about a Zerg that just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I know.
Lysira been for the last couple months. He's out of the GSL, but
yeah, and he was at Winter Arena, the smaller MLG event, but didn't really do all that well there, honestly.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you know.
Oh, here we go. Is it going to be enough Lings though?
I don't know. Stim and medevacs is pretty powerful. Polt's starting to have these Marines whittled away. It looks like. He does pick up. It was going to actually almost draw to a closer. I couldn't call that because that was very evenly matched, but Polt didn't want to suffer those losses. He backs away, and, you know, Incredible Miracles knocked out GSTL as well, so we're not going to see him at IPL 4 as well.
Yep. That's right, yeah. Lysira, he was at IPL 3, if I remember right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are going to see both Nesty and MVP, though, at IPL 4. I don't know. I don't know if MVP has been officially announced yet, but yes, guys, he is coming.
Yeah. Is indeed coming. I wonder how good Nesty is going to be, though. You know, he was in that car accident apparently a couple weeks ago, hurt his wrist. He's fine, but there's just going to be a little bit of recovery time oriented with that. So that's why he skipped MLG Winter Arena, I guess, not Winter Arena, Winter Championships in Columbus. So I wonder if he's going to be feeling up to coming to IPL 4. Hopefully he does, but...
Well, he's already told us that he's going to be there, so fingers crossed everything is progressing well there. So
yeah,
and I hope his recovery has been going well, so it's never fun when your life relies on control of your hands and things like that to have an injury like that.
Yeah, that'd be like one of us accidentally like swallowing a cactus or something.
Oh, God, I can't even imagine that was a scenario that could come up in life, but you have me frightened of it now as a possibility.
You know, you're just like... walking through the desert, you trip, and you go, oh no, I'm tripping, and your mouth opens really wide, and you land on a cactus.
That is staggeringly horrible to think about in a lot of different ways.
It sounds a bit painful, actually, now that I really think about it.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm pretty sure I'd just die, but...
Remind me to stay in the city when we go to Vegas. I'm not going to go out in the desert.
Good call. I'll be right there with you.
Oh no, there's cactus in California, though, too.
Whatever were we going to do? I can't go out of my house now. Wait, I don't do that anyway. I just play video games.
Yeah, I go out of my house every once in a while.
Mr. Social.
I didn't mean this to sound like, you know, cocky or anything like that, but
I know.
I wanted to talk about something cool I did last weekend. I went to Big Basin State Park here in California and saw some of the biggest trees in the entire world. Some of the California coastal redwoods. They were gigantic, man.
They're amazing, aren't they? So
it's like the place where all you can do is say really obvious things. You're like, wow, that's a big tree. It's like, well, what did you think you were going to see, huh?
But it's also one of those sites where somehow that's oddly appropriate as well. You're like, wow, that's a big tree. And you kind of just nod in agreement. Whoa, that is a big tree.
It's like, you're right, and that one's tall.
Yes.
It is tall.
Those are different words for big. All right.
Big and tall.
Let's see here, though, as we have fourth hatchery put down for the next life over on the left-hand side of the map. So once again, pretty passive, working towards the late game. Spire just finished up. We do have Hive, so immediately into Greater Spire. He's not forgetting it this time. Corruptor's already being produced. Adrenal glands being researched as well with 3/3 upgrades for the ground. So the next life setting up for super powerful Zerglings and Broodlings off of the Broodlords themselves. TSL Polt, on the other hand.
Is that where the Broodlings come from?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
God. Vicious. Vicious. Never ends, this guy.
Oh, I know.
Part never ends with him.
We have fun. The upgrades are going to be pretty good, though. The Broodlords are interesting in that the ground and air upgrades affect them, too.
Yes. And did you know they make broodlings?
I did know that.
Ah.
Not until you told me.
Okay. Figured I'd throw that out there as a nugget of advice.
Yeah, that Greater Spire getting pretty close to finish. We might see those Broodlords fairly soon. The supply actually favoring TSL Polt right now. He's been playing pretty well here.
Yeah.
He's been macroing like a boss,
A little bit of that supply saved up, of course, for some Broodlords. That doesn't catch all that many units there, so Fungal does keep those units at bay, I suppose, and those were full energy infestors. Whoa! That's an explosion of a unit there.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
And let's see, there's the Greater Spire's done. All right, well, Scan goes down, cleaning up a few creep tumors now. As the next life being very diligent with the creep spread once again, looked pretty impressive.
Oh,
here come the Zerglings from around the side, and he just runs right on by.
Yeah, so wanting to wait for the perfect opportunity. Didn't want to lose a lot of creep there, so that is understandable. Polt has a good amount of tanks here, a better amount of Marines. His upgrades are not quite as good as his Zerg opponents, though, so that might come into play here soon. And, oh, the Infestors hiding. They're ready to Fungal.
Yes, they are, and keeping a few of those units pinned down. Not hitting a ton, not the best Fungals in the world, but serving their purpose for now, just delaying the Marines from moving up as the Broodlords get in position.
Yeah, so, there they go, Broodlords.
Hey, Broodlings.
Firing the Broodlings out of themselves.
Right.
And the Siege tanks just doing a ton of damage with this here, too. Oh, I love the Spine Crawlers on the high ground as well. Polt just cannot advance. So once again, okay, here we go. We've got Life in a good position. Oh, he's flanking from the bottom.
Yes, he is. Running around with a lot of Zerglings as well. Banelings go off on a couple of units, but that wasn't the best flank.
Not really, no.
Now, however, Polt is still reproducing units pretty slowly. He really needs to get anti-air units out there, finally reinvesting into Thors. That's what I was waiting for. I knew he had the factory sitting around. 3 Thors coming up at a time as it looks like he's going to make a big drop. Ton of Zerglings and Banelings buried to hit as well. And the Ultralisk Caverns being put down for life as well.
His drop did okay last game, so not surprising to see him going for something like that in the main base as well this time around.
Yeah.
Although he may be giving up his 4th base to do it. We'll see.
All right, well, let's see. The rest of the units are making their way in right now. Fungal's pinning a couple of units in place right now, and not a ton of medevacs overhead, so the Marines not really healed up all that quickly. Take a look back at this drop that's about to hit. Already Spore Crawlers and a bunch of Zerglings are there and waiting.
Drop right there, though, and yeah, now the Zerglings aren't going to be able to do anything to next life. Not paying attention because he's going into the natural.
Yes, he is. It looks like he's going to clear up this command center up at the front. I don't even know if that's going to be able to lift off in time. That's going to have to get canceled. Polt is doing a lot of damage here around the back, though.
The infestation pit.
Takes it down, may go after the Hive next. Oh, but a lot of Banelings are being cycled through. Is this going to be enough to clean it up? Looks like it is. Polt finally has a drop stopped in the Broodlords. There's really not a lot of an answer for them at the moment. We do have some Vikings off to the side, but look at the way that Life is reinforcing with units up 80 supply.
Yeah, he needs to get some Corruptors in there, though. But no, he's switching to Ultralisks. It doesn't matter if the Broodlords die. And suddenly, Polt just kind of falling apart here.
Yeah.
Now alive, here we are at that situation again where he has a lead. Will he get sloppy?
Is he just going to go into the Planetary Fortress? There it goes. Denies 1, 2 bases. May get a 3rd here in a second. Just more for those Banelings. He doesn't even care. I'll take some damage. That's fine.
Wow. All right. No +3 weapons yet for the Marines. Oh, those 2 Marines very lucky here. But the Thor driver is not quite as fortunate.
No. Bye-bye. All right, well, it's a 70 supply advantage. Polt trying to attack through with a few units, but that looks like it's being cleaned up by Life very, very quickly.
Yep, the Ultras are out right now. The chitinous plating on the way as well. Just started by the next Life. And Polt just doesn't have a lot of units out on the field right now. The Zerglings streaming into the main.
No, he's kind of falling apart now. I don't think there's anything he can do. And Polt, there it is. GG.